Welcome back to Seed Time and Harvest. I'm glad you're joining me today. We will be talking about pressure canning versus water bath canning. Which of these methods is ideal to process your fruits, your veggies, or even your preserve? Stay tuned. So whether you're looking to save up on your harvest or you have found a good deal at the supermarket and you got a lot of veggies, you got a lot of fruits that you want to preserve, one of these items is ideal to have your harvest conserved for a longer period, whether you want to do a water bath canner or a pressure canner. So here we have three items. I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, and just to allow you to choose which one would be ideal for you to use in your kitchen. There are pros and cons for water bath canning and pressure canning. Any of these methods can be used to extend your shelf life for a long time. But there is another method, a quick canning method that you can use to preserve a harvest for use within a short period. Now that's very simple. Say you have your preserve, you have your jam and your jellies, you prepare these items. You can put them in a nice sterilized jar. All you will need is a band and a lid. You will put your lid in some boiling water for about 5 minutes to allow your seal to become soft and nice. Once this is soft and nice, you will affix it to your jar, apply your lid, and you can store that item in your refrigerator for use within 3 weeks. Anything outside of 3 weeks will need either the water bath canner or the pressure canner. When you use any of these items to can your food, the ideal is to make the food last longer. This is accomplished by whether the water or the steam inside the pressure canner, it creates a vacuum within your jar, and that vacuum, it prevents air from entering. Now remember, bacteria, mold, any form of viruses, they need oxygen for them to reproduce. Once you properly preserve your items, there will be no air entering, so you will not have that oxygen for any bacteria to grow, and that makes pressure canning and water bath canning the best method to use for extending your shelf life for whether your fruits or your vegetables. Okay, so first let's talk about pressure canning. Here we have a regular 23 quarts pressure canner that can be used on a stovetop, and then we have a digital pressure canner. I'm going to talk about the difference between the two, but just let me first note that pressure canning is not the same as using a pressure cooker to preserve food. This is a lot more involved. You have to have a gauge, you have to have sufficient weight, and you have to have sufficient space within your pressure canner so that steam can build up to destroy the bacteria. All right, so the steam is the important factor here with pressure canning to make sure that your food is preserved for a longer time period. Now, if you had to choose which of these three should I get? So you say, okay, Cherise, I'm new to this canning business. I need to start preserving some food. What should I get? Well, I would recommend anyone that's new to canning, start with fruits. Okay, so it's very easy to preserve your fruits. It's very good with time. It doesn't take a long time, and you can't really make a mistake in terms of the process in starting your fruit. With that being in mind, a water bath canner would be ideal for your fruits. You save time, you save money, the process is less technical, okay? Now, if you want to maybe jump to this machine, it can be used as a water bath canner, right? Because any of these two can be used to perform the function of this canner. But again, if you have the time, if you have the space, if you have the money, I mean, buy all three. I really use all three. If I have a big batch of items that I want to can, I would start my electric canner because it takes longer, but I can only fit 5 jars here. If I have a big batch again, 5 jars may not be ideal, and I can fit 7 jars in this one, so I would use 1, 2. I have a big stovetop. I can fit both of them on my stovetop, so I can say beets here, asparagus here, apples and pears in this jar, in this pot. So it's really up to you. okay, whichever one you use. The price range, this will cost you about $30, a little more if you want the canning utensils included. This pot will run you anywhere between $140 to $169, and this digital canner will be about $250. Okay, the last time I checked it was about $250. So really, again, I'm going to put the ball in your court. I like all three. I use all three. I find that it's very easy to use them. But if you're a beginner, I mean, you may start big and then use it for all your canning needs. One pot, all processes. You choose, just make sure that you do start canning. So the next item we're going to talk about today is our water bath canner. And this is where I started as a beginner in food preservation. The first item that I wanted to try was a water bath canner. You can't go wrong with water bath canning. While pressure canning is more involved, it has a lot of details to it. Water bath canning is very simple. You can use it to process high acid food. Those high acid food will involve your fruits, tomatoes, and anything that you can basically pickle. I say pickle lightly because I pickle with lemon juice, and you can use salt to process those types of items. It's very simple. You need a thin pot. Your pot will come with a rack similar to the pressure canner to create that space between your jars and the direct heat, and just the cover. With this, you will fill your pot just about 1 to 2 inches above your jar. Bring your pot to a rolling boil. Once you're at a rolling boil, your timer will start. You will process your item for however time is required. Again, each item requires different times, so you want to make sure that you're very specific with your recipe. An excellent source for recipe would be my tried and true Ball book, Guide to Preservation. I would recommend getting one of these, not necessarily just going online, finding a pressure or a water bath canning recipes for blueberries or strawberries. You want to make sure that you have a source that will give you facts, good information, not somebody just testing out something and then just putting it online, okay? And this book has a lot of recipes for butters, preserves, different form of jellies, soups, everything that can be preserved is found in this book. So with my water bath can, again, any type of fruits, preserves, you will cold pack your fruits in hot jar. You put your hot jar inside your water bath canner and you bring it to a rolling boil, and it doesn't take as long as pressure canning, okay? So I can have some fruits canned and out of my pot within 30 minutes, right? Strawberries, they take about 15 minutes to preserve once your water starts to boil, and that's it. Now, you don't necessarily need a big pot. There is a solution that you may have within your kitchen that you can use outside of getting this pot. My solution is right over there. So you want to start water bath canning, but you don't have a water bath canner at home. But like many homes, you have a big pot. This big pot can be used as a water bath canner. I mean, any pot you have, as long as it will give you sufficient headspace above your jar, can be used for a water bath canner. As you can see, I can easily fit this jar in this pot and give me a 2-inch headspace. Now, of course, if you have your regular pot at home, it will not come with the canning rack. And it's very simple. That's a very easy fix. When you go out to buy your jar, you will get lids, right? These little things here. These can be used to create a barrier between your jar and your pot. Simply just insert them in your pots. You will need about 6 or 7, maybe 8 of these rings, and it will create a nice house for you to be able to sit your jars on so that they are not coming in contact with the direct heat source. And there you have it. So you have no excuse as to the reason why you cannot start canning. It's very simple. I mean, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer any questions you have. And I want to say thank you for joining us on Seed Time and Harvest. Until next time, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and happy canning. Bye.